Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply, and this video is to bring you a closer look at the Pemko 4131CPKL clear anodized aluminum automatic door bottom with the Pemko Prene insert. So the Pemko 4131 is a automatic door bottom, and we'll go over what that means in a moment. 4131 stands for the fact that this can be either surface mounted or semi-mortised and is a low closing force model. The C means that the aluminum housing is in the clear anodized aluminum finish, and the PKL stands for the fact that this is a proprietary type of seal called Pemko Prene, a very good, durable, long-lasting sort of material used to provide the seal. So let's back up. A automatic door bottom is a device that seals the bottom of the door when the door is closed. It's that simple. How that is accomplished is by the following. Automatic door bottoms like this have two different ends. They've got the end with this bolt that's sticking out that's got a Phillips drive on it. We're going to call that the plunger. Okay? Then it's got the opposite end that does not feature that. The plunger end is the side that is mounted to the bottom of the door on the hinge side. Critical. This goes on the hinge side of the door. Backing up a little bit, can be mortised, semi-mortised, or surface mounted. This model is typically surface mounted, and it would be attached to the face of the door at the bottom of the door on the push side. This is on the hinge side of the door. Or you can mortise the face of the door to accept the housing of this such that the face of this, when it's installed, is flush with the face of the door. So looking at the drawing below this video shows that the housing width is 9/16 of an inch, or the thickness of it anyway, 9/16, and then the height is 1 7/8 inches. Okay, when we turn that, just because of its length, I'm turning it up on its end. 1 7/8 inches. So if you were to make a continuous mortise to the bottom of your door, 9/16 deep and then 1 7/8 high, you'd be able to install this so that it was flat on the face of the door. Keep in mind, you could not do that to a fire-rated door. Obviously, a metal door. This would have to be just a typical wood door that you'd be mortising into. Keep in mind that you're going to be getting into the particle board of the door, etc. So before you go mortising this, maybe think that through before you consider doing it. Although it's a very clean look when it's all said and done. You could use a router for doing that. And if you want to discuss how to go about doing that, please feel free to reach out to me. Okay, so automatic door bottom seals the door when the door closes. You can see right now that the seal is tucked up neatly into the housing. Okay? This plunger that is sticking out of the edge of the door is connected to a threaded rod. I can turn this counterclockwise and it will project out more. Okay, and I can tighten it clockwise and it'll recess back into the housing, as you can see. The amount of projection that the plunger extends from the end of the housing is directly related to the amount of drop that the door bottom is going to work. This threaded rod is connected to a flat spring. That flat spring is pinned on one end over here. You can see that the second hole here, well, that's a pin holding in the flat spring. As the plunger is pushed in, the action of closing the door, this being on the hinge side, this will come in contact with the stop of the frame. As the door is pushed or pulled closed, that last few degrees, that has nowhere to go but in. And when that plunger goes into the door, into the housing, what happens is the bottom of that drops down. You can see as I push the plunger in, the bottom comes down. Now it comes down and it looks like it comes down oddly. Imagine, and it does drop like a guillotine. That's how it's designed. You can see it doesn't drop much over here. My thumb is going to act, my thumb right here that's moving is going to act as the floor. So what happens is, as the bottom comes in contact with the floor, it obviously forces the rest of it to drop down as well. So as I restrict it from dropping down any further, emulating this coming in contact with the floor, it will drop the rest of the door bottom down. So it comes down like one end, and then the rest of it comes down in that fashion. That's how these work. They're excellent for contouring to a floor surface that's not level, obviously not wavy, but to a level surface. The maximum drop on these is typically about 7/8, sometimes about 3/4 inch. Okay, we're getting a real good drop on that. Your final adjustment after you install this is how far it extends out. You don't want this to bottom out too severely when the door is closed, because what will happen is as you open the door, it will still not begin its ascent back into the housing, and as you push the door open, you'll be dragging that across the floor, and it'll become damaged. You want to be able to, if it was me, when I've installed these, I start with it almost all the way in, and I close the door and I look at it, and I get it to just drop nicely and make complete contact, but no more than that. I don't want any pressure on any of the internal parts more than necessary. The advantage of an automatic door bottom, it becomes obvious immediately. Concealed, nothing to drag across the floor, finished floor, carpet, whatever the flooring condition might be. Quite elegant in its solution. These items are known to last an extremely long time, and because you're not dragging your sealing material against anything, you can expect a long lifespan out of that material, that Pemko Prene that's there. Okay. A lot of people will use these in situations where they want to deaden sound transmission as well. People that make home studios for recording buy these. This being a low closing force model, I can easily push this in with my finger, whereas a standard is far more difficult to actually do that. Low closing force models are really a good choice for doors with door closers, etc. Automatic door bottoms are available, at least the 4131. It's available in several different colors: gold, satin nickel, dark bronze, obviously clear anodized. These sorts of items are available in standard duty material like this, heavy duty versions where there's just more sealing material everywhere inside, heavier spring. They're available in different applications. This is typically a surface mount, but you could do a semi-mortise. You could do a full mortise where you route a channel into the bottom of the door. That would be a mortise model in both standard and heavy duty. Different seal material as well, depending on what application you're doing and what you want to accomplish with it. The Pemko Prene is a real common item for use in exterior doors, and they work really, really well. Though these can be cut down in the field. You don't want to get any close. You don't want to get any closer to that spring than necessary. You got about 2 inches worth of being able to cut this down, and that's okay to go about doing it. You're going to want to, in my opinion, order the actual size you need by ordering the next longest piece or pieces and indicate in the comment field what length you'd like for us to ship the material out to. When I've installed these, door is going to be closed. You're going to measure the distance between the stops on the push side of the door and deduct about 1/8 of an inch, and that's going to be what you're dealing with. The seal material is always going to ship long, as you can see. That's pretty typical, so you'll be able to trim that. The other parts included with this is a flathead screw like this. Okay, what that is for is putting it into the jamb, attaching this to the jamb on the stop, and countersinking that, so that when the plunger makes contact with the frame every single time, you don't want this steel plunger over time to degrade or create a divot into the frame stop if it's a wood frame, and it likely is. That screw head is made up with the top of that, with the face of that plunger. See if I can show you a little bit better. Okay, just envision that. It is going to obviously include screws for attaching it right through the 3 holes that you see here. They're going to look like that, just a truss head style screw. You're going to get end caps. They're going to be black finished caps. Obviously, one side is the side with the plunger, and all they do is just finish off the look that you've got here. I can't really get it attached because this is not trimmed. You can imagine how that's going to look. It's just going to finish it off with a black cap. You're going to get screws to attach that material, and they go right into that little bird's mouth extrusion that you concept on the extrusion there and here. That's where they were going to attach to, and that's really it. Automatic door bottoms are a real elegant solution to solving the situation where you've got a gap at the bottom of the door, especially when you've got situations where the door has to open in and work compatibly with a very thick flooring condition on the inside, like shag carpeting. Okay, you'd be able to mount this flush with the bottom of the door, or and then the gap that's underneath it of 3/4 inch, if it's a 5/8, ½ inch, whatever the gap is underneath the door, this will handle it when the door is closed. And as soon as you go to open the door, that snaps home, and then you've got nothing dragging across your carpeting. Probably the only disadvantage that I've ever heard of these sorts of items, and it is true in the sense that this is not a imaginary issue. When this is sealed and someone goes to open the door, you hear that snap every single time. There are models available on the market that have a rubberized buffer between those areas. And that's obviously an exaggerated sound, but there are models available on the market that have a rubberized barrier between this housing and the outer housing to deaden that sound. But one thing people have said, that's kind of loud when it opens. It is. It's true. What can I say? Take the good with the bad. I happen to think automatic door bottoms are a very nice solution, with that being their only shortcoming, in my opinion. Pemko is a full-line manufacturer of all things weather stripping related, not only automatic door bottoms like this, but commercial weather stripping, a comprehensive line of thresholds, gasketing, specialty material like stainless steel and bronze. They have a full line of residential weather stripping as well, along with a full line offering of aluminum continuous geared hinges and sliding door hardware, including bi-parting, bypassing pocket door hardware. If you have any questions on the Pemko 4131CPKL automatic door bottom or any other Pemko product, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.